Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, if this is your first time, hi, my name is Bella and I make YouTube videos about motherhood, lifestyle, and really anything in between. I'm in the process of adjusting back to the whole idea of YouTube. I was on YouTube for such a long time and then taking a break that was almost a year long was actually crazy. Life just happens sometimes. So I've decided that all the updates that all of you have been asking for on my Instagram, by the way, this is my Instagram. I would make individual videos for them and just put them in between. But today I wanted to talk about something a little different and I guess kind of personal, but I feel like a lot of people might relate, or certain people might need to hear this at certain points in time in their lives. I've never considered myself a perfect person. I've never even considered myself really close to perfect. I've just always been of the mindset of, I know myself well enough to know what I'm capable of doing and what I'm not capable of doing. But the thing about that is that you always have to figure out a way to give yourself a bit of wiggle room, because the truth of the matter is that you are very likely to disappoint yourself. And disappointing other people is one thing, and it's something that I can probably get over and sleep off, but disappointing yourself is on a whole other level. During this year away, or almost year away, I spent a lot of time in self-reflection. I definitely will say that motherhood changed me. As cliche as it is, I can honestly say, regrettably or not regrettably, that I am almost a completely different person than I was before I had my daughter. And I've really been enjoying the change. I don't even want to lie, because I'm somebody that I get easily agitated by change. So a lot of the time, even when change is happening, I don't want to acknowledge it in the hopes that things can stay the same. But this is a change that I have to be honest with myself, I'm happy about. It has, unfortunately, or however, brought about a lot of shifts in relationships and interactions that I've had over the years, especially in the duration of last year. I find that people that I used to depend on a lot, I don't anymore. I'm now increasingly more family oriented. I base a lot of my friendships on functionality, meaning what can I do for you? What can you do for me? But recently I had, I think, what I would refer to as an encounter. So I had this argument with one of my closest uncles. And in the process of having that argument, he said some things that hurt my feelings, with good intentions, quite all right. But he said certain things that hurt my feelings. And I just kind of was like, yeah, if he's not going to apologize, I guess this is the end of the relationship. And there are some of you that are thinking, yeah, fair enough. If he says something that is unredeemable, then that is the end of the relationship. But the rest of you are probably thinking that's a bit extreme, to just end a long-term relationship over that. But in the process of getting through that, it made me realize that that is my capability. I am more than capable of ending relationships prematurely as a result of somebody doing one thing that I don't like. And it made for a scary self-conversation, because it made me realize that the two interactions I've had, the two relationships or friendships that I've had to end ever, were as a result of somebody doing something that I did not appreciate, and me not really giving a chance for reconciliation, not giving a chance for fixing the situation. Almost like if something is broken, in my mind it's broken and that's the end. And it brought me to the point in time where I basically had to sit down and really self-reflect and try and understand why it is that I feel like once somebody does a certain thing in that list of things that I'm like, no, this is unforgivable, why it is not possible for me to, yes, take it under my wing and be like, yeah, fair enough, you did that. And not just go ahead to be like, yeah, that's the end of the relationship, but maybe just change the dynamic of the relationship. Like I've been trying to understand why it is an all or nothing situation for me when it comes to relationships, and I have come to the conclusion that it is a defense mechanism. And it's a defense mechanism because I never want to be the one in the situation that is rejected, or the one in that situation that is let go of. So my natural instinct just tells me, listen, this deal looks like it's finna go south. So I think that you should just pack your things and be going. And when you are trying to move forward in life, like romantically and otherwise, you do have to learn that certain things that you've prioritized in your life are not good for you. Like I remember a point in time, like every relationship or interaction or situationship that I've been in, I've been the one to end. And for a long time, that was a thing of pride for me. And now I'm thinking to myself, why should I be happy knowing that I'm the one that is constantly ending things and constantly leaving things? Why is it a situation where I cannot stay and like fight for something, and once it just starts getting difficult, I just dip? And yeah, it's one of the things I've really been thinking about. I'm trying to understand myself more, and as a result of understanding myself more, leave an avenue open that when I offend people, they can talk to me without it seeming like, I can't go and tell this babe that she did something to me before she will go and cut me off. Like, I don't want to be looked upon in my circle of friends as, no, you can't, you should do something to you, just forget, just let it go by yourself. I want people to be able to talk to me. That's one thing in 2020 that I'm really adamant about. I don't think a lot of people understand, maybe because I wasn't like that before, but I love criticism. Like, I actually love it. I might not be the happiest about it when it's happening, but trust me that in the back of my mind, I am so pleased and I'm so relieved when people tell me things about that I do to them that they don't appreciate. And every time somebody says something to me, once I'm having a conversation with them, my brain automatically just starts to adjust. I don't know, my lash was looking a bit. Can you guys see that? My brain just automatically starts to adjust. So if in a conversation you tell me you don't like how, like, sometimes when you're talking, I now go ahead and I now like interrupt or something like that. Next time I'm having a conversation with you, I'm constantly like putting in a conscious effort not to do that, because that's what I would expect from somebody if I express myself to them as well. The second thing that I've been working on is as a result of my NYSC posting, actually, which I'm still going to talk about, like I said, in an update video. But basically, I work in a center for psychological and behavioral health. In simple terms, I work in a mental health facility. And in as much as I don't have so much of an interaction with patients, I mean, I do, but like not in an intensive way. I have had the privilege of sitting down on a lot of psychotherapy sessions. And one thing that stood out to me, and I hope that can speak to somebody else as well, is the importance of being assertive. So if there's a scale of assertiveness, there is this side, which is passive, there is assertive, and there is aggressive. Being assertive means that you are getting your point exactly across. You are communicating effectively. I promise it's not corona. You're communicating effectively, and that is something that is so important to me. And I always thought that just for the fact that I am such an expressive person, I'm good with my words, I know what I want to say and I say it, that meant that I was an assertive person. But I'm starting to realize that that is not the case, because I'm actually quite passive as an individual. I don't say things to people if I feel like it's to hurt their feelings. I don't say things to people if I feel like they should. My sister is out of self-isolation. You guys might not have known this, but she was in self-isolation for 2 weeks. So now she's like feeling hella brand new. Come and say hi now.
Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is The Brownie Gram.
Oh my gosh, you look so nice. Our colors are literally like
last time I
contrasting.
came, I swear like back and forth. Last time you guys saw me, my makeup game was not this bomb, I guess it's.
I've learned so much, and I'm really excited to go back and learn even more. I didn't think that it would be so beneficial to me, but going back, I realized that I'm not assertive. There's a list of questions that they ask you to see if you're assertive or not. Like, do you feel like it is a burden to express yourself to other people? Do you feel like you don't want to express yourself to other people because you're scared of how they will respond or how they will take it? And that is literally me. And that is how a lot of my relationships have been. And it has been such a strain on me. I can't lie. It has been such an emotional and otherwise strain on me, and I never understood why. I feel like in certain relationships I would react to things differently than I would in others, and I never really clocked why until the point in time that I realized that I was actually not assertive. And the thing with when you're not assertive is you keep on suppressing and suppressing and suppressing, and then before you know it, even without you knowing it, it starts to leak out. So the person starts to experience certain things that you're doing, and you don't know that you're doing them. You don't know that it is as a result of how you feel or anything like that, but you're doing them, and then it causes a strain on the relationship. When in reality, so many things could have been solved by you just being honest. Going into the relationship that I'm currently in now, after a period of being by myself, I realized that it was so important for me to get this communication thing on lock. So even before this period in time, which was like maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, when I learned about being assertive, I had already started to understand and be aware of the fact that I don't express myself as much as I should, especially to the people close to me. It's significantly easier for me to talk to people that, you know, have no stake in my life. But once it is about people that have stakes in my life, like I lock off. And it was important to me to go into this relationship as open as possible, because this is the first relationship that I've been in that I've given 100% of myself. I said defense mechanism, I'm extremely guarded as an individual. Is one of the reasons that I'm such an open person as well, is because I have to guard myself. So I have to be as honest and open as possible so that things are not found out and used against me. So these are just two things. So look at how long I've been talking about it. But I don't know if any of you can relate. Sometimes I feel like certain things happen to you at a fixed point in your life. So when you're about to hit a turning point, or you're about to make some major decisions, all of a sudden you just enter the realm of self-reflection. I think a lot about stuff like that because like a lot of people I love are going through the process of marriage and stuff like that. And like, it's just what is happening around me. And I always think to myself that I want to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. So I feel like in that regard, especially during this quarantine season, it is so important to reflect. One of my best friends in the world is named Alfred. He's a pastor. I'm definitely going to go get him on this channel once isolation is over. But he did a podcast episode about toxic people and toxic relationships, and I feel like a lot of us go into listening to stuff like that thinking that, you know, we'll find out that one of our friends is toxic and stuff like that. But the plot twist about it is that a lot of us are toxic in the relationships that we're in. Somebody can be toxic to you, but you can also in return be toxic to somebody else. And when I realized that the way that I was moving was kind of like, yeah, you know, if you're not saying something to me that makes sense, or you're saying something to me that feels like a threat, that's the end of our relationship. I realized that in certain relationships, I am the toxic person. And that is a lot to deal with, realizing that you are the problem in certain situations. But it's also a breathtaking experience. I feel like I might sound a bit psychotic, like being happy about stuff like this, but when you are open to learning as much as you possibly can about yourself, even the bad news is like a good thing to hear, because you're like, well, okay, fair enough. At least I have somewhere to work from. I really find a lot of importance in improving my relationships with people that I interact with offline. There has to be a video just talking directly about why I'm no longer an influencer and why I'm no longer a blogger, but that will be another video in another series. Before I go, do not forget that you are sugar, you are spice, and you are bomb ass jello fries. You might be toxic, but you're still bomb ass jello fries, honey. Bye.